Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to my review of WWE 205 Live, the first ever episode from November 29th, 2016. And I know I have a lot of videos I gotta catch up on. I just really been busy with schoolwork and other things, so I'm gonna sit down and watch all the shows this week and catch up on them. So I hope I can do that. Um, and I figured I'd start with this since this is the latest thing I've missed. So yeah, I'm just gonna pull up my notes because I actually forgot to do that when I started this video. But yeah, this next couple of weeks you're gonna have to excuse me if videos get up late just because I'm so busy with school, um, and I'm just been busy. So all right, so I got the notes out. Let me start reviewing the show. So we had Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo, and Austin Aries on commentary for this episode. I thought they did a really good job on commentary. Austin Aries is actually really good on commentary. The only thing I don't like about him is he does a lot of things of putting himself over on commentary, and I just don't really like it when commentators do that. It kind of takes away from the match and what's going on in the storylines and stuff. And he clearly is a heel commentary, and I'm actually gonna kind of put it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna, since it's Austin Aries and that's kind of like what his whole thing is, where he's claims that he's so great. I don't particularly mind it that much, so I'm willing to accept it in a way. So then it shows a video package for WWE 205 of all the Cruiserweight action that's ever happened, pretty much since the Cruiserweight Classics, and when they went to Raw and everything. I thought it looked really cool. And then it shows the roster for WWE 205. Let me see if I can look that up, because I legitimately don't think I can probably say them off the top of my head. I just don't think I can. I am going to try, though. So we have the Cruiserweight Champion, the Brian Kendrick, Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, TJ Perkins, Mustafa Ali, Arya Davari. Okay, I got the roster right here. So the roster for WWE 205 is Arya Davari, the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, the Brian Kendrick, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Grand Metalik, Gurv Shearer and Herb Shearer, the Bollywood Boys, Ho Ho Loon, Jack Gallagher, Lindsay Dorado, Mustafa Ali, Noam Dar, Rich Swann, TJ Perkins, Tony Nese, and they just have his name as Tozawa, but his real name is Akira Tozawa, so I guess they're gonna call him just Tozawa. So that's fine with me. So overall, I think the roster actually looks pretty good. You don't have everybody in there. You just got the entire Cruiserweight division, but I think it looks like a good roster. You got Davari, who can wrestle, the Brian Kendrick, who's really good, Cedric Alexander, who I think could be the most talented Cruiserweight, Drew Gulak, who's a really good submission wrestling. The Bollywood Boys, I'm not like a huge fan of, but they're okay. I think they're a good team. I'm going to get to them in a minute. Ho Ho Loon's pretty good. Jack Gallagher I like. I think I like him a lot. I think he has a lot of potential. Lindsay Dorado I really like. Mustafa Ali, I think he's pretty good. Noam Dar I like a lot. Rich Swann, love Rich Swann. TJ Perkins I think is pretty good, just not with the gimmick that he has now. I like Tony Nese. I think he's actually got some potential. I just don't think they're going to utilize him really well. And Akira Tozawa has a lot of potential if they use him properly, so I hope they do. So now I've talked about that, let me talk about the show. It shows a video package for the Bollywood Boys, and they talk about how they've been a tag team all over the world, and they've watched wrestling since they were younger. And the three things that they would watch is Bollywood, which I don't even know what that is, hockey, and WWE. And they say that Bret Hart and Chris Jericho are their inspirations. And one of them says that they're their style is pretty much a technically sound based wrestling, but they can do, but they will take risks and do high flying moves when they need to. And they talk about how their their grandfather is blind and can't really see them wrestle. But it says that they're happy that they made it here for them, and all that stuff. So I actually thought they were really good here. So we have the Bollywood Boys versus Drew Gulak and Tony Nese in a tag team match. Drew Gulak and Tony Nese didn't even get an entrance, which was kind of sad. The Bollywood boys, like I said, I think they're a good team, but I just don't like the whole gimmick where they do this dance, I guess. I think that's it. I'm just not a fan of that. But they're a good team. They dominate the first half of the matchup, and Drew Gulak and Tony Nese get the heat on one of them. I don't remember which ones. And then eventually one of them gets the hot tag, and he hits he puts, I believe, Tony Nese into like a DDT position, which I thought looked pretty cool. And he makes him DDT Drew Gulak. I thought that looked like a cool move. And he goes for the pinfall, but Tony Nese breaks it up. I think it was Drew Gulak, actually. It was Drew Gulak breaks it up. And then one of the Bollywood boys takes out Drew Gulak with a dive. And then the other one tries to take out Tony Nese with a dive, but he gets taken out by a clothesline. But eventually the Bollywood boys win with a double super kick on Tony Nese, and they get the victory. I thought overall it was a good match. And then afterwards, Drew Gulak and Tony Nese, Drew Gulak get interviewed about why they lost, and Drew Gulak says, "Don't even talk to me. You don't really care about what happened." And Tony Nese says that that's not fair because the wind was all slippery and it didn't really give us a chance to utilize. And they think that the Bollywood boys are a joke. I actually thought they cut a pretty good promo afterwards, and they do this a lot. I kind of like how they cut promos, and they interviewed the guys that they lost and the guys that won. I think that's pretty cool. So I like that. And then it shows a video package for Noam Dar, and he talks about where he came from. He talks about how he came from England. He says that he likes being a part of the WWE, and he says that he doesn't care about size, and he talks about how he doesn't care about the reaction that he gets. He just likes the atmosphere, and he says that he wants to give people something that like they have watched something different, and then he'll adapt his style to work with anybody. So I thought that was good. And then the Brian Kendrick gets interviewed, and he talks about how he's pretty much the reason that 205 exists, because ever since he's won the Cruiserweight Championship, the Cruiserweight division has skyrocketed. And he says there's no chance that Rich Swan's going to beat me tonight. You might as well just bet your entire house on me. And he said that Rich Swan one day will have his day, but not tonight. He's not even on the wheel for the betting table. And then TJ Perkins walks in and says that the Brian Kendrick still owes him a rematch, and he said that he kind of hopes Kendrick wins tonight, so because he feels like he'd go to the back of the line if Rich Swan won. Then it showed a video package for Grand Metalik, announcing that he's going to be debuting soon. I can't wait to see him. He was really good in the Cruiserweight Classic, so I think it's going to be really cool to see him. And then we have Arya Daivari versus Jack Gallagher. This was a fine match. Jack Gallagher at one point ties up Arya Daivari in a knot, and he just leaves him hanging there, and eventually he kicks him right in the ass. I thought that was a nice spot. But eventually Jack Gallagher wins with a drop kick in the corner, and Austin Aries was calling it out saying, "Does that remind you of somebody, Corey?" Because obviously that's one of Austin Aries' patented moves, so I thought that was kind of cool. But overall it was good. Jack Gallagher I really like. He does a lot of unique maneuvers. Like when he was standing up in a headstand, he holds out his foot to stop Arya Daivari from attacking him. So he does a lot of unique stuff, and the whole thing where he says, "I'll keep it gentlemanly if you keep it gentlemanly." I like that thing. And then we get a video package for Lince Dorado, and he talks about how he's been known as Lince Dorado all over the world. He's been called that by his trainers, and he said that he wants to represent his people in Puerto Rico, and he says that he takes chances. And he says that the reason he does the Shooting Stars press is because he believes that he can do it the best out of anybody. So I thought overall he cut a good point. It was a good video package by him. And then we get the main event. It's a Cruiserweight Championship match. Cruiserweight Champion, the Brian Kendrick versus Rich Swann. Overall, this was a really good main event. But before the match starts, Rich Swann, it shows a video package for him winning the triple threat match to become the #1 contender to the Cruiserweight title. And talks about how when he was at a young age, when he was 13 years old, his father was passed away, and when he was 16, his mom passed away. And he said, nobody knows what it's like to not have your parents help you guide through life. and he said that wrestling saved his life. Wrestling made him feel good. And he said that he wanted to make other people feel good. So that's why he likes to smile and dance all the time, because he wants to make other kids happy. And he said that this is the biggest opportunity of his life, and he really wants to experience it. So overall, I thought he cut a really good video package. It really got me invested into Rich Swann. And then we get the match, and it was actually a really good match. Which they first start chain wrestling each other. And eventually, when Brian Kendrick starts getting his ass kicked, he leaves the ring. At one point, Rich Swann actually hit a double underhook powerbomb on Kendrick, but he was able to kick out of it. And Rich Swann hits a drop kick on the outside, and then he hits a flip clothesline right onto off the barricade onto Kendrick. I thought that was really cool. And then eventually Kendrick hits a neck breaker right on the turnbuckle while Rich Swann's on the apron. I thought that looked really sick. And then Kendrick dominates the matchup from that point. He hits a back suplex on him, and he just completely dominates Rich Swann for a while. The Rich Swann starts making his comeback. He hits a Kendrick hits a first time Kendrick hit a full Nelson, hit a suplex on him. I thought that looked really cool. And then Rich Swann hits a Michinoku driver on the Brian Kendrick, and he hits a suplex dropping Kendrick right on the back of his neck. I thought that looked really cool. And then eventually Kendrick gets back in control. He gets the captain's hook in on Rich Swann, but Rich Swann's able to get to the ropes to break it. And then Kendrick hits the sliced bread number 2 off the top rope. Rich Swann kicks out of that. And then eventually Rich Swann hits 3 kicks right to the head of the Brian Kendrick and eventually covers him and becomes the brand new Cruiserweight Champion. I thought it was a really nice moment for Rich Swann to win this match. I think this was a completely right decision. You could say, well, Kendrick didn't really get to showcase himself as a champion, but with all the build-up they did with Rich Swann, that video package, I thought it made sense for him to win the Cruiserweight Championship. He's the guy that has had the best story out of anybody, and it finally is like validation for him. And I think they did a pretty good job building him up. He was on a winning track for a while, so I'm fine with him being the Cruiserweight Champion. And then afterwards, he gets interviewed, and he cuts a promo saying that this was for his mom, even though she couldn't be here, but she was still here in spirit. And he says that if she was here, he'd be proud of him. And then afterwards, the Brian Kendrick gets interviewed, and he says that he feels like just wrestling Rich Swann. TJ Perkin got in my head. He played mind games with me, but he said that this moment with Rich Swann's not going to last for long. And that was it. And Rich Swann afterwards celebrates with his title, and that was the end of the show. But overall, I thought 205 was a pretty good show. I enjoyed pretty much all the matches. They weren't really like great matches, though. It wasn't like a great show, but it was fine. The crowd didn't really seem into it. I heard that this show airs after SmackDown, so the crowd's really dead. The crowd doesn't know the show's even on to begin with, so I think that's kind of funny. But overall, I thought this show was a pretty good show. Yeah, I mean, nothing really not a lot really to say about it. I don't know, like I said, I kind of talked about this when I did the Retro Wrestling Review series. It's the mainstream audience that doesn't get up behind some of these guys. Like Rich Swann doesn't get nearly the amount of reaction as he does in NXT and the Cruiserweight Classics. Neither does Jack Gallagher or the Bollywood boys. And it's really just kind of sad to see how Drew Gulak and Tony Nese get used, because they're so talented and they can showcase a lot more talent than what they can do. So it's just kind of sad to me. But overall, it was a really good show. I just kind of wish the Cruiserweights, it's still, even though they have their own show now, I still don't think the Cruiserweights are being used to the potential, just because they're just not. I just don't think they really give them a lot of time. You still don't. They're doing a better job. I think eventually this is just going to be a work in progress. Just like the women were years ago when they were divas and they put them on the piss break. So I think that's what's happening with the Cruiserweights. But overall, this was a good show here. I enjoyed, pretty much all the matches, and I enjoyed the main event. Seeing which one won the title definitely was a bonus for me. And yeah, I enjoyed it. So and the commentary obviously was really good too. I really enjoyed the commentary. But that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers, Owen the Talkinator, and all the other channels down in the description box. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.